David Ogilvy is widely regarded as the father of advertising. And he said that 5 times as many people read your headline as your body copy. Now, that tells you that the importance of headline writing is immense. And to enable people to actually read the rest of your content, you've got to have a great headline. In today's episode, I want to share with you some of my personal reasons of how to write a great headline and also 2 excellent software tools that I use to craft better headlines. So come on in. What are you waiting for? Hi, I'm Salma Jaffrey, and you are watching Content Marketing Tips, the weekly blog to watch for non-icky marketing advice that you can implement right away. And today we're talking all about headlines. What is a headline? What's an effective headline? Why do you need one? What does it do? And what is the power of a great headline? And I'm also going to give you 2 excellent tools that you can use to just fine tune and get some ideas and just get your headline juices all flowing. So let's get started. So my perspective on headline writing is that you are not writing headlines for one person. And you're not writing headlines for 100 people or 1,000 people or lots of people either. No. You are writing headlines for 2 kinds of things. So one of them is humans. So people like you and me, actual people who are going to be reading your headline, right? But the other thing that you're writing headlines for are search engines. Google, you're writing headlines to be able to come up in search results that are relevant for your content. All right, so what does that tell you? That not only do you need to write a headline that is going to appeal to a human, but you also need to write a headline that search engine robots can index. Now, we're talking about a couple of different things going into headline writing here that are actually going to enable, robots to make sure that they understand the context of your headline, and for human beings to want to click on your headline, to want to read more. So there are 2 factors at play here. So the first one is called search engine optimization, right? To get search engines to index your content and to be able to find it in the stream of information overload that is the internet, right? So how do you get found and how do you make sure that your headline is search engine friendly? So let's talk about that for a second. When we're looking at headlines that are crafted for search engines, you want to keep a few factors in mind. The first one is character length. Now, a lot of people will tell you that 60 characters is the optimal for search, but you want to experiment with that a little bit and see which ones really help get your message across. So sometimes you may be able to use less or sometimes slightly more. But also important for search is the placement of your keywords. So the first few words and the last few words typically are where you want to put the most emphasis on your headline, right? So character length and then keyword placement. That's really important. All right, so for search, you have decided that you're going to have this headline that is going to contain your keywords, that is going to be the optimal length, and that is ideally going to contain your keywords either in the first section of your headline or in the last section. Now let's talk about how to make your headline more human-friendly. Right? So human beings thrive on emotion. And that is the #1 characteristic of why people want to read something based on their headline. It has to basically make them want to. So when you are crafting headlines for human beings, you want to use emotive words. You want to use as much emotion as you can possibly put into that headline without going off track or it sounding cheesy or totally weird, right? So you want to keep true to the context of the headline, but you also want to use power words. You want to use words like stop and fear and don't do this, and stuff that's going to make people feel like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? What can I do right? How to eat healthy? How to 5 ways to get more out of your exercise routine, or 6 foods you should never ever eat if you want to stay healthy. So stuff like that that brings emotions into play. Now, it's hard to do all of this, right? It's just hard to just come up with all of this information out of the blue. So I want to introduce you to two software tools that I use like just about every day for all sorts of my content needs, right? And they're really great because what they do is help you understand what's popular and then help you understand how your content can fit into that and how you can, mold that. So the first tool that I want to introduce you to is called Buzzsumo. Now the link will be down below in the video script and in the comments. So you want to go into Buzzsumo and put in your keywords, and that's going to tell you what people are searching for and what is popular around that particular keyword. So say, for example, your keyword is content marketing, and you put that in, and all these search results are going to come up, which are going to show you, well, what are people talking about content marketing for right now? Right? And that's going to help you understand the things that are already popular. Then the next headline writing tool that you want to use is called CoSchedule's Headline Analyzer. And when you go to this tool, you want to plug in the headline that you start with. And once you plug that in, the tool is going to give you a lot of information on how your headline is performing. So it's going to give you a grade, a numerical grade, as well as an alphabet grade, right? And so your aim should always be to try and get an A plus grade, right? And also to hit all of the content markers, to have common words, uncommon words, power words, emotional words, and to sort of have a well balanced headline using both of these tools. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a live demo of how I do that for some of my videos. So let's go and watch that. All right, guys. So the two tools that I want to show you, the first one is called Buzzsumo. So I just want you to go here to your web browser and go to buzzsumo.com. That's buzzsumo.com. And this is essentially a site that tells you how content that's already on the internet is performing. So it's a great way to gauge what is already working for other people. So you want to be able to have some idea of what kind of content you want to create. And you want to be able to first brainstorm some headlines and some, topics that you want to write about or talk about, and then plug that into buzzsumo.com and see who else is writing about it and whether that content is performing well. Is there a market for it? So I'm going to take one of my old video topics as an example to show you here. So I did a video a while back on how to be more interesting and how to get people's attention and how to get them to read your stuff, right? And so what I did was I basically typed in how to be interesting into this tool, and just all you do is hit go. Before I hit go, I just want to show you that I'm not logged in right now. You can have a free account. You can just sign up and it'll allow you to perform more searches, but really just as a tool to just test it out, you don't even need to log in or to sign up or anything. You can just really start right away. So it's really easy to use. So just hit go on this search query and it's going to show you some results on how to be interesting, if anyone's writing about this or not. And here we go. So you can see that on the left hand side are the topics that people are writing with these keywords in it. And on the right hand side, you can see where it's being shared. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google, and a total number of shares. And you can see just how many times each piece of content has been shared and which sites are writing about it and whether they're big name sites and whether they have picked up this topic. So, you can sort of gauge whether there is interest in your topic based on this information. So let's go and see a couple of these search results here. So one of them is the exact query that I put in, how to be interesting, and it's by businessinsider.com. So that would be something interesting. I would want to go check out exactly what they're doing. So let's go and take a look and see. So what they've done is they have a list post, 12 simple ways to be more interesting. So that's well, that's interesting to me because I can see that a list post perhaps is performing really, really well on this topic. So that's something I could consider adding into my topic. So right now my topic is a how to be interesting. So in this post, she gives 12 reasons. Become a spy, tweak the schedule, ask why, instigate, share what you discover, state the obvious, and so on and so forth. So this is an interesting, insight into how I could perhaps write my headline in a different way. Now, here's another one says 9 habits of boring people and how to be more interesting. So, this actually pits the counter effect of not being interesting against being interesting. So, maybe my headline could show people, okay, how to not be boring and how to be interesting instead of being boring. So that's another angle that you could look at to show two sides, like stop being this to be this. So that's another way to write a headline. Then here's another one by Lifehacker, how to be more interesting when meeting new people. So here you can give a reason for why somebody would want to be more interesting, right? So if that's the kind of content that you're looking to create, then that could be a good way to bring people in who think logically, okay, I want to build my business and network more. So therefore, I need to learn how to be more interesting. So therefore, a headline which gives a reason for how you can be more interesting and the benefit that you can get by being more interesting, that would work well for people who are looking for that kind of information. So now that I have some ideas that this post could possibly do well, people are searching for this. I mean, look at this. There's like, almost 7,000 searches, 4.1K searches just on Facebook alone, right? So I can see that this is a popular topic. People and industry publications, which are large publications, are writing about it. So there is interest in this topic. So that's what Buzzsumo is essentially telling me, and it's giving me some ideas on how I can make the headline more enticing. Now, the next tool that I want to go to, so you go back to your web browser and you basically type in coschedule.com/headline analyzer, right? Just do a Google search for it, it should come up. And this is a really great tool by CoSchedule. CoSchedule is a content marketing company, and they also develop some great other tools like editorial calendars and stuff. And they've just recently launched their headline analyzer. Again, as you can see, I'm not signed in right now, and you don't really need to be to just start using the tools. So I really love the simplicity of these tools. You just go right straight ahead, just jump into analysis. So what we're going to do here is put in our headline, our basic one, how to be interesting, and hit analyze now. And it's performing its analysis on my headline. It's going to give me a grade, a numerical as well as a number grade. So here you go. Sorry, I said numerical and alphabetical grade. So my numerical grade is 81, which is actually really, really good. And it's out of 100. And my alphabetical grade is B plus. So it gives me a word balance thing here. It says that I have 25% of common words in my headline. I have a good percentage of emotional words in my headline and 25% power words. But the headline is not too well balanced, right? So that's why it's given me a B plus. Now, what I want to do is perhaps tweak my headline a little bit more so it can be more balanced. So going back to the things that I learned from my Buzzsumo is I want to give people some kind of benefit, right? So how to be interesting. So maybe I want to put in a numerical list post, right? So maybe I can say 3 ways to be interesting and see how that performs. Oh, so it actually performs lower. It's not performing as well as how to be interesting performed. So that's kind of interesting to me. And it says that it's a bit too wordy. Your headline type is a list, but the character count is really, really low. It's too short. Needs some more beef. It's not enticing enough. 3 ways to be interesting. For what? It's too vague. There isn't a clear benefit communicated to the reader in this. So let's go back to how to be interesting and add some more in things that people can get. How to be interesting so people will listen, because my post is primarily about getting attention, getting your readers attention. So how to be interesting so people will listen. So now I'm giving a clear benefit, and great, and it worked. So from B plus, we have jumped on to A plus. So that's really good work. So the tool is telling you that this is a better headline. The headline type is a how to. Character count is 43 characters, which is the right length. The word count is 8 words, which again is the right length. And if this is how your headline is going to look in Google search results, how to be interesting so people will listen. And this is a really cool area to look at, which shows you the first 3 words and the last 3 words, because research shows that people sort of skip a lot of words in between when they're speed reading or when they're skimming. So you really want to have impactful words to start with. So how to do something is really impactful because it teaches something new, and so people will listen. So a lot of people want other people to pay attention, so then this works as well. And the sentiment is positive. So that's really good. So this is an example of how to use the tool to find and sort of fine tune and tweak your headline to perform better than it would without all of this extra information that you can glean from these free tools. So if you go to my website, essentially scroll down to how to be interesting. Here we go. So what I've done is I have done 2 variations of this. So how to be interesting so people will want to listen to you, and how to be so interesting people will stop and listen to you. And I tested both of these out in the CoSchedule's headline analyzer tool, and I found that both variations of this headline performed equally well. I got like an 85 A plus score for both using want to listen and stop and listen. So remember when I was talking about earlier in this episode about how to write headlines based both on Google search and on emotive, getting people's emotions into play? So stop and listen is more emotive. Like I'm telling people, okay, here's how you can be so interesting. Everyone's just going to stop and listen to you, like stare at you, like pay attention to you. So there's more emotion in that one. And how to be more interesting so people will want to listen to you could be used for perhaps the search engines, so they understand that this is a how to, and so people you can get people who want to listen to you. So I actually used both headlines, one in social media, so in the video thumbnail and in the social media sections of when I promoted this blog post on Twitter and on LinkedIn and Facebook. But for Google search, I used how to be more interesting when you want people to listen to you. And I also used here in the subheading, I also put in the list post. So you can see that I tried a combination of techniques to sort of just like hit all the markers, right? So 3 steps to being so interesting people will want to listen. So these are the ways that you can sort of just amalgamate all the information that you get from these great free tools. So, all of this information that I got from Buzzsumo, and there's a lot more that you can get from it. But for now, just try and experiment as much as you can with using both Buzzsumo, and then plug your headline into CoSchedule and just see a combination of words and tips and techniques that could work for you. So there you have it. Hopefully you have a good idea now about how you can use both Buzzsumo and CoSchedule's headline analyzer to craft the perfect headline that is going to appeal to search engines as well as human readers. And the one thing that I want you to be really careful and cautious of is to never use clickbait headlines. Clickbait headlines are headlines which promise one thing, but then they don't really deliver on their promise in the body content. So you do not want to do that and, fool people into wanting to click, because they may click once, but they'll never come back again to your site. And that's not something that we want to encourage you to do. So don't use clickbait headlines, but do use powerful, emotive, popular words in your headlines. As always, if you like this video, please share it with all your friends, everyone you know. And if you want to continue receiving video goodness inside your mailbox, please subscribe using the link right here. And I'll send you one video every single week with lots of marketing stuff and tips and advice. And please also use the comment section to let me know what you thought. And if you want to add to this, if you want to ask something else, always use the comment section and let me know. I'm always reading. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time on Content Marketing Tips.